Hey, how's everybody doing? That was a little over exaggerated there, wasn't it? Hope everything's going lovely for you. Let's do 2014. We'll do some of the albums and songs that I thought were noteworthy, and then we'll do the Hot 100 year end countdown for Billboard. I only write down the songs that I know or recognize or have something to say about. So it's not all 100 songs. Anyway, let's get started with 2014 was still big, heavy with the Red State Fair type rocker bands, all the rock fest type of bands, the Five Finger Death Punch, Nickelback, Korn, Linkin Park, Chevelle. I really like that one Chevelle, that song, the one with all the hits on it. That was really good. And then their next album, I'm not sure which one they're referring to here, but Non-Point was one that never got quite as huge, and I really liked one of their albums too. 3 Days Grace is a band that I have to admit I like their music more than I should. I only know the popular songs, but every time I hear one, I'm like, oh yeah, that's good. In This Moment, the there's a trio of badass women-fronted bands in order of how I like them. In This Moment was probably the biggest one of them. Hailstorm, who are still kicking out there. Lizzie Hale was doing the Skid Row tour, filling in for vocals. Well, I haven't heard anything about how that's been going, but hopefully it's all right. I think it's awesome. That's one of her favorite bands. We're getting to play with them. And then my absolute favorite is Pretty Reckless with Taylor Momsen. She is just the best rock star out there right now, and the most gorgeous woman probably on the planet, as far as I'm concerned. I would do things I shouldn't probably mention here to her, in a good way. Oh, that's awful. Moving on. Hollywood Undead. Remember those guys? They just put out new music. I'm not sure if 2014 might have been their debut, because I think they only did one or two records and then kind of disappeared until just recently. Slipknot was still kicking. I'm not sure what album they were on there. I just wrote the band names down because I was just going to buzz past all of these butt rock bands. Not the Queens of the Stone Age is a butt rock band, but they were doing songs. They were still on Songs for the Deaf, and there was new Foo Fighters at that time. I think it might have been the Pretender. I'm not sure. It's they were just pumping out stuff. At one point, Dave Grohl, I think I figured out, Dave Grohl was on the charts. It might have been this year. Dave Grohl was on the charts with 5 different albums. He had the new Nirvana, I think, box set, the new for Foo Fighters, Queens of the Stone Age, Tenacious D, and he played on one other thing. Oh, the Probot thing that he did, his solo thing. Anyway, switching gears, we'll get into some of the hip hop. Childish Gambino, Kendrick, the Rihanna Shakira duet was that year. It's kind of a weird song. The Michael Jackson Justin Timberlake duet, which was I'm not sure what to think of that. It's not great. But boy bands, we had 5 Seconds of Summer and One Direction. Not that they're a boy band, but Fall Out Boy was doing Centuries. 1975 came out with Chocolate. I really like that song, and I really like the 1975, especially that song. Vance Joy's Riptide. Sam Smith made it onto the chart with Stay With Me. We'll mention that later, but Not the Only One is my favorite song of his. Ed Sheeran, Thinking Out Loud. I'm surprised why is that not on the major list. Maybe it was, I just might have missed it. And Pitbull's Fireball song, which I think back in those days we were hardcore into that Fireball stuff, so that was a lot of fun to hear at the bars and stuff. A lot of the DJs, EDM artists, I guess you should technically say, were having big hits that year. Tiesto and David Guetta and Martin Garrix. Mr. Probs had a song called Waves. And Coldplay's Sky Full of Stars was a hit that year. Now, getting into the top 100 year-end Billboard Songs of the Year. You had a lot of Drake. Drake was doing the thing that Taylor Swift is doing right now when you put out an album and everybody would just listen to the whole album, so the streaming counted as singles. So he just filtered in all of these spots that I just don't even care to mention. The Stay the Night song was Paramore. Or that was not the Paramore song. That was the Haley Williams with Zed, I think. I love that song. It's so good. Number 88, you had the Congas with Come With Me Now, which I didn't realize that song got that big. We were going to do that song that year, but we had a rule that we had to do only the biggest songs. And that one just never climbed up there. Somehow it must have, because it made number 88 on the year-end chart. Here's some Rihanna. Number 83, Blurred Lines. Speaking of another song that we used to do. And it's not the best song. It was super easy and super fun. But there's several things about that song that are problematic now, so it's best to just leave that in the past. Number 80, you had Katy Perry with the Birthday song. I didn't think that song was very good. I thought it was kind of at the tail end of all of her big hits. Surprising to see it on the year-end chart here. The Neighborhood, Sweater Weather. I thought that song was excellent. I thought that band was going to get way bigger than they did. I'm surprised to see it on the year-end chart here. Apparently it was bigger than I thought it was. But that song is fantastic, and I listened to it the other day, and it's definitely still holds up. Ryan Tedder and One Republic. That sounds wrong to say. No, it's wrong. One Republic. And Love Runs Out. That's an excellent song. We used to do that one. I still like doing that song. It's super easy and super fun. And I think people remember it. Maroon 5's Animals. The Avicii song is really good. Echo Smith's Cool Kids. That was my daughter's favorite song back then. I think she was like 8 years old. And so that song I always thought was really cute and really good. Imagine Dragons, Radioactive. They kind of misrepresented themselves to me with that song. I thought that song was amazing. That was one of our go-to songs for a couple of years there. Before I realized that they were just kind of schlocky pop stuff. They only had a few other songs that even grabbed me at all, but Radioactive was a great one. Then you had a couple of Ed Sheeran songs, Sing, which we also covered for a very, very short period, because I never could figure out the part exactly right. The rhythm is kind of weird. Video is kind of weird too. I think he's a Muppet Ed Sheeran. It's kind of weird. And he had a song called Don't, which every time I listen to it, every time I see that name, I think, I don't remember that one. And then I listen to it and I go, oh yeah. And then the next time I see the name, I'm like, I don't remember that one. So apparently it's partially forgettable. One of the only Drake songs I do like is called "Hold On, I'm Going Home." Then you had another Zed song. Apparently, I didn't write down what it was, but interesting that "Stay the Night" is on there, and then Zed and Paramore "Ain't It Fun" are back to back, a little higher on the chart here. Paramore, oh, you're so good. That "Ain't It Fun" song is so good, so catchy. Number 46. Apparently, I got back into numbering them. Number 46 is Katy Perry's "Roar," which basically was the same song as that Brave. Is it called Brave by Sarah Bareilles? Song that came out that same year. It's kind of more women's, feminist, women can do anything type of song, which was good at the time. Now it seems a little schlocky. Her new song isn't as great, but it's basically Roar. Her new song is basically the same song that she was doing 10 years ago. Then we got 44. Miley Cyrus, "Wrecking Ball." She was trying to bust out of her Hannah Montana Disney era and was going around half naked or completely naked most of the time. But "Wrecking Ball" is an amazing song. I love it, love it, love it. 41 is Clean Bandit with the song called "Rather Be." And after all these years, I had to go back and listen to that one to remember what it was. And once again, I can't remember it off the top of my head right now, so take that for what it is. Yeah, that Snoop song, "Wiggle." I almost don't even want to mention it. That'll be in my terrible song list soon. Oh, what an awful song. I love Snoop so much, but oh, that's such a dumb song. Oh, it just makes me angry. Next up is Ellie Goulding with "Burn." It's kind of not as good as her other song. We Did It Forever. What was her other song called? "Lights." But gonna let it burn, 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 burn. It kind of reminds me of a Rihanna thing. I think That could have just as easily have been a Rihanna song. Number 37, Ariana Grande with Break Free. All of her stuff just goes in one ear and out the other. Right over my head. I did this gesture for this, but I meant this. But same thing. I don't have a recollection at all of how that goes. I like her music when I'm listening to it, but not a damn bit of it sticks in my head. It's just, I don't know. Then you had Nicki Minaj's Anaconda, which, I have more to say about that song than I care to. Sampling Baby Got Back right off the bat, and I think it doesn't sample. I mean, obviously the lyrics are an interpolation of that, but isn't the music sampled from Super Freak or Can't Touch This, whichever one? I don't remember. Oh, it's awful, awful, awful. And in the next couple of years, that's kind of a standout. In terrible music was not near as bad. And 10 years ago, in 2014, as it is now. I'm not going to be an old man yells at clouds, but Jesus, the Juvenoia is real. Next up, we have Beyonce's Drunk in Love, which I played that in a band for a while, and it was kind of fun doing acoustic, because I think Ed Sheeran did an acoustic version. That's kind of the way we did it, but Beyonce's version is intolerable. It just sounds like she's just squawking through the it's awful. It's just it sounds like you're killing a cat. It's just awful, awful, awful. Number 34, Boom Clap, I think was a collaboration between the I Love It girls, whoever that was, Iconopop, and Charlie XCX. I thought that song was a great, great pop song. I love Boom Clap. Then you had Calvin Harris, I Met You in the Summer. And that was a catchy song. That's a good one. I've listened to that one this year. I've listened to that one in preparation for this, and it still holds up. It's a great summer song. I was trying to figure out what the sample is. If I remember, I'll go and look it up at some point. But right now, if you can think of what it was, write me a note down below. A note. Put it in the comments, and we'll talk about it. Number 32. You had Tovlo. I think that's how you say her name. I heard some other people pronounce it different recently, but her biggest song to date, Habits, which I thought was an excellent song. It's the lyrics are kind of questionable, but it's kind of how you feel after a breakup, so it's fair. And it's a great, great sad. It's a sad song, but at the same time keeps its pop, uplifting pop sound to it somehow. Love it, love it, love it. And you had American Authors, Best Day of My Life. This day and age, I wouldn't expect a band to get that high up there, but Best Day of My Life is it's the best song that is somewhere between Fall Out Boy and Maroon 5, I guess, to me. It's super poppy. super catchy, and yeah. Then you had one that's really unusual. You had the Yeah Yeah Yeahs with Maps. They kind of came out of left field and reestablished what was originally called alternative music. That song was amazing, and the video is amazing. And she starts crying. She's pulling out Sinead O'Connor and starts crying while she's singing. And there's a whole story behind that. She had just broke up with her boyfriend, or was about to break up with her boyfriend, who was in another band, I think called Liars. And he was supposed to come. She wrote the song about their relationship, and he was supposed to come to the video shoot, and he didn't show up. And just as they were filming that part of it, he walked in the door, and she started crying. I think that's just amazing. It's an amazing story. Maps is a really, really good song that didn't fit the times at all, but I'm glad it got the success that it did, because it really deserved it. Next up, we had I think I don't know if they're a band or if it's a DJ EDM artist, but Disclosure. It's the first song I ever heard Sam Smith sing on. Latch. That's a great song. And you had Bang Bang. Doo 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 doo. See if I can remember who all. It's Ariana Grande, Jessie J, and Nicki Minaj. Yeah, it's just the three of them. Boom Boom. Or not Boom Boom. Bang Bang. There's too many onomatopoeia songs this year. Wiggle and Boom Clap and Bang Bang and I thought that was a really catchy song. I wanted to do it, but we didn't have a female singer, so we kind of chose not to do it. Then you had the Iggy Azalea and Rita Ora duet called Black Widow. I thought that was a decent song. Iggy Azalea kind of turned out to be kind of problematic and not quite as big a talent as she thought she was in her own mind. She's kind of blipping the radar. She's going to be a trivia question someday. But 25, we have Sia with Chandelier. After writing Diamonds for Rihanna, she did her own song, which she had done her own music before and up to that, but finally got a huge hit. And that's kind of an amazing song, even though it's a little screechy in the vocals if you're not in the mood for it. Number 21, we had Let It Go from Frozen, which I used to torture people with that off the jukebox. I like that song. Actually, let's say I can tolerate that song. It's so well written. It does get old though. And ironically, Let It Go. Next was The Passenger, not The Passenger. The artist called Passenger, with a song called Let Her Go. And then you had the two Lorde songs, Team, which I don't really remember off the top of my head, but Royals was absolutely amazing. That kind of changed pop at that time. Up to this point, you had all of these artists trying to be dancey and fun, and she kind of came along and uh, inserted the darkness and realism in there, kind of like the Tovlo Habit song. And maybe even the Ellie Goulding stuff was a little more that way too. Kind of neat seeing pop just kind of, especially female-led pop, just change overnight, kind of right at that moment. And you had that Christina Aguilera feature on, what was that band called? A Greater Tomorrow, or A Greater Universe, or A Great Big World. That's it, right? A Great Big World. Say Something. I love that song. Love that song. I did that song acoustic for a long, long time. I need to bring that one back. Then you had Eminem and Rihanna doing Monster, which there's a story behind that song too. That's kind of one of the first ones that BB Rexha got screwed out of. I think she actually wrote that song and got it to Eminem, and he stripped her verses so he could put his verses on it. Then send it to Rihanna to be the feature on it, and left BB Rexha's vocals and writing and doesn't feature her. I mean, she could have been a huge, huge star with the couple of times that she just got railroaded several times, and it's just really sad. I like to bring attention to BB Rexha as often as I can because of that. Oh, then you had Turned Down for What? DJ Snake and Lil Jon. It's probably the only Lil Jon song I can really stand. Number 13, Taylor Swift, Shake It Off. Once again, probably one of a handful of Taylor Swift songs I can stand. Up until the talking thing in the middle. I hate when they do that. It's so cringy. And if I'm listening to a song loud and they start doing that talking, they usually do it in R&B songs when they go, "Hey baby, I just wanted you to know that," it's so corny. It's so corny. But other than that, I mean, listen to the groove on that Shake It Off song. It's got that. And you write a song to that groove, and it doesn't matter what you write to it. It should be a hit. It's the old Mickey by Tony Basil thing. And the same year, you had All About That Bass, which is instrumentally and kind of vibe-wise is the exact same thing as Shake It Off to me, only not near as good. Moving on, we got Bastille, a song called Pompeii. I think that was their first song ever. I could take it or leave it. It's kind of bombastic pop. I like it better now than I did at the time. Number 11, Kesha and Pitbull, Timber. We did that song for a long, long time. That's such a fun groove. And thing is so much fun to sing. Ooh, 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 ooh. So I know that was off. It's hard to do that without a reference on the instruments. But oh my God, what a fun song to sing. Number 10, top 10. Top 10 2014 year-end Billboard tracks. Sam Smith, Stay With Me. And He's got to give half his money from that song to the Tom Petty estate now. He had Ariana Grande with Problem, which it's got that saxophone thing that was in about 100 other songs that year, and I swear to God it's the exact same sample, because I need to compare them back to back, because it's one that's in Talk Dirty, which is coming up, Jason Derulo, and I think Jason Derulo was actually the feature on the Ariana Grande song. It's almost like they say use this sample for both of those songs. I don't like either one of them. If I had to choose, I think Problem is the better song. You got All About That Bass. I hate it. I hate Meghan Trainor, and I hate that song. You got Magic, Rude. I cannot believe that got to be the 7th biggest song of the year. Another one that's just out of place with everything around it. A band doing a reggae song. Faux white boy reggae, even if that. But it's a catchy song. I mean, it's hard to mess up the doo-wop changes, the ice cream changes. And that's basically what it is all the way through. And like I said, you got Talk Dirty to Me. Not Talk Dirty to Me. It's called Talk Dirty. He says Talk Dirty to Me, but it's Talk Dirty. Number 5, One Republic again with Counting Stars. I love that song. Such a great pop song. That was one of our go-to songs for up until just recently. I think me and Jonathan actually do it on my other channel, if you dig back in there far enough. Number 4, Iggy Azalea with Charlie XCX, Fancy. That was her big blowout. She was never able to follow up that big success, but I liked that song. I thought that bass thing was super catchy and super original and super that song got people going for the longest time. Charlie XCX is just amazing, and that was the first time I had ever heard her. Obviously, she popped up in quite a few things this year, and she's never able to kind of push out on her own, but her guests on other people's songs was always just top notch. Her part is what makes that song catchy, I think. Now it's going through my head. Number 3, All of Me by John Legend. Great song. I don't ever want to hear it again. It's just a little too sappy for me. I understand why it's 3rd biggest song. I bet that song was in a million wedding ceremonies that year, or receptions. Number 2, we had Dark Horse by Katy Perry. Love that song. I think it's probably Fireworks is probably her best song. Dark Horse is a very close second. And the number 1 song of the year, drum roll, Pharrell with Happy. Of course it was. That's one we still do when we do the pop rock band. Can't get away from that song. There's a lot of generic trap and hip hop stuff on this list. That's why I skipped so many. Out of 100, I think I probably only have like 35 songs or something that I even talked about. And oh my God, the country that year. Oh, people, please stop making stupid people famous and stop listening to all this garbage rap and country. Country. So awful. Awful. Last note is I don't know why Uptown Funk wasn't on there. I think maybe it came out too far towards the end of the year, maybe. But maybe it'll be on my 2015 list. I don't know. We'll just have to wait and see. Hopefully I'll get to that sooner in the year than July or August. I guess it's almost August now. But yeah, that's the year in 2014. So, catch you in the next one.